Welcome back to the John Trading channel. In this video, I'm going to give you my price prediction for Smooth Love Potion, also known as SLP, for 2023. This token is actually used in the Axie Infinity game. When you need to breed, this token is used within the Axie Infinity game, and I truly believe that it does have a lot of potential, especially when we come back into the crypto bull market, which is just around the corner. Plus, Smooth Love Potion has had some major news that has recently hit, and I want to cover everything for you, plus give you a price prediction. Let's get into the video. If we look at these highs, you can see the SLP token reached over 42 cents, and we're currently 0.2 of a cent. So the potential price gain just back to the old all-time high is 20,000% on Smooth Love Potion. So there's a massive gain potential. Even only if we get half of that gain potential, it's going to be massive in the market, and definitely why I'm interested in this coin, especially if you're interested and bullish on Axie Infinity, then you can't not be bullish on Smooth Love Potion. So what is SLP token? Smooth Love Potion tokens are earned by playing the Axie Infinity game. This digital asset serves a replacement for experience points. SLP are ERC20 tokens, and they can be used to breed new pets that are known as Axies. The cost of breeding begins at 100 SLP, but increases gradually, rising to 200, 300, 500, 800, and even 1300. Can be bred a maximum of 7 times, and each 7th breed costs 2,100 SLP tokens. You can see that there's actually sort of a burn mechanic for these tokens. You need to use them to then breed your Axies, and then those tokens are basically gone forever. And that's why I do believe if there's a supply and demand shock, there's not going to be enough supply and the demand is going to skyrocket. Here is the major news that came out on Smooth Love Potion. Boom! Apple has approved its first blockchain game on the Apple Store at Axie Infinity Origins. They've introduced a version that lets players start their journey with non-NFT Axies, making it easier to jump in and play. So this is truly just the beginning for Smooth Love Token. It's now approved on Apple, one of the biggest play stores in the entire world. So there's going to be a massive amount of buying potential, because a lot of people are going to come into the game. They're going to use this free-to-play game, and eventually when they're able to make this and commingle it with NFTs, you'll be able to see that it will go massive in the App Store. Now is really the time to be looking at this token, especially when you look at the price. We're down basically 99% from the high. We're down 99.5% from the high. And if you are interested in this coin, you basically are interested in buying low and selling high. You don't want to be buying high when the price is all the way back up here. You want to be buying low. I'm not telling you to buy. This is not financial advice, but this is definitely a coin I'm interested in. And specifically at this price, I'm extremely interested because we're basically buying the absolute low, literally the bottom tick in this coin. And if Axie Infinity still has any bullish momentum in the next bull run, then this coin has to follow along, because you're going to need this to breed your Axies. A lot of people breeding, they're trying to actually make money by mixing 2 breeds together, breeding that off and then leveling that up. That's one of the only ways you can make a really real killing, especially if you mint one of those legendary ones. So you can see why this coin definitely has a lot of massive potential. Plus, it's approved on the Apple blockchain, so extremely bullish. And let's now jump over. If we now come over to the price, I definitely have some price targets. Let's actually scroll into this area here, and you can see we initially had a support level through this area. What happened? We got a major breakout to the downside. And then what happened? We retested this level of support, initially support, got the breakdown, then acts as resistance in this area before then continuing to the downside. So even on just this particular trade, down from here, looking to retest, that's only over 75% profit on that particular trade. And I definitely think that this at least could act as at least a small resistance level. Once we're down here and we look to come back into these highs, it's over a 50-60% profit on this particular trade. And I do believe this area will act at least as a small resistance level. I don't think it's going to act as a major resistance level like it did back here, acted as a major resistance level before making over 40 to 50% to the downside. Whereas here, we've already tested these levels. We've already tested it for another time. We will need to get it back above this exponential moving average. Right now, all through this area, we've had a downward sloping exponential moving average, which is also signaling that there is more bearish momentum than there is bullish momentum. But when we do get that tick up, I'm expecting at least to come back to this price, maybe have a small retracement before we then look for the second target on Smooth Love Potion. When we now scroll out and see the entire price, you can see that where this target one is basically a tiny percentage of back to the old all-time high. So this is definitely at least a small target, more of even a trading target than thinking to buy long and to continue holding. The next level that I'm really interested in the coin is definitely through this area here. You can see that we've had a support level in this area. 1 support, 2 support, 3 support. We try to have a major breakout to the upside, but then we had a major tick to the downside and we weren't even able to retest this area. So we've got support, support, support in this area. Once we got this breakdown, it is going to act as at least a small level of resistance. So when we're looking at that current price, bring it all the way to our target, that's over 2,700% profit, a 27x on this particular trade. And that would truly be one of my targets in the market. Once we came back into this area, I would be looking to at least get half of my position off, maybe 1/3 of my position off, because once you made a 27x in the market, although we do have potential to basically make a 200x in the market, I'd rather at least say get 10 or 20% of my position out. I can cover my original buy. Everything that I'm holding is basically free because it's all made in profit, and then we can just let it ride. And it's a lot easier once you see your position is going massively, massively higher. If you can just take out what your initial investment is, I personally feel like that's one of the best ways to trade, because not only are you risk-free on that trade, but secondly, it's also easier to hold. When you basically got 100% of your net worth into one of these coins and it's skyrocketing, you just want to get out of everything. Whereas at least if you sell out, sell what your position was worth at the start, then everything you're holding, it feels much easier investment-wise. It feels much easier mentally to hold on to that position, and then you're able to ride it back to that old all-time high. So one of the next targets, especially since through here, we've had a lot of resistance. We came back to this area. I do think that this at least will act as a small resistance level when we come back in this area. And it truly does depend on how well Axie Infinity will do. If we now look at the actual Axie Infinity token, you can see that this is Axie Infinity, which is the actual game itself, but this is the token that's used within the game. So we can see from our current price all the way to the high is 2,400%. So SLP token is basically acting like a 10x leverage token on this particular, because from this low to this high, it's 20,000, basically 21,000%. Whereas from this low to the high is 2,300, 2,400%. So very similar gain potential, although SLP has that 10x potential if we're able to reach back at that old-time high. And really, the good thing is to use Axie Infinity as a bit of a proxy, because without Axie Infinity going up, we're not going to see SLP token going up, and vice versa, because this is truly the game token. So right now, you can see how we're actually very much traveling the same. Through this area, we had a bit of an uptick. Right on today's area, we're having a bit of a downtick. Very similar through here. Had this uptick in here. Today, we're having that downtick. So it basically acts like a leverage version of Axie Infinity token. And we're not going to see one of the prices going down and one of the prices going up. You can look at Axie Infinity token to basically understand how SLP token is doing. If SLP token goes up 100%, Axie Infinity is probably up 10%. And if Axie Infinity is up 100%, or SLP token is probably up close to 1,000%, because it's using, basically it's roughly that 10 times multiplier. Reason being is the SLP token, the total market cap for SLP is close to about 60, maybe $70 million, whereas Axie Infinity is basically worth billions of dollars at this point. So it takes a lot more movement, a lot more money to actually bring it back to this old all-time high. So you can use Axie Infinity as a proxy. Truly what we're going to want to see is this EMA begin to tick to the upside, because all through this area we've had a downwards ticking EMA, which signals us that there's more probability of continued movement to the downside. And we've had a very similar move in this SLP token, all these movements down to the old all-time low. So right now we're looking, this is our initial target 1 for SLP token. My second target 2 would be getting out at this point here, and would be getting out at least a good portion of my position, at least cover my initial buy, and then look to retest this old all-time high, roughly 21,000% away. So there's a lot of massive potential on Axie. There's a lot of massive potential on SLP token, especially since it's just listed on the Apple Play Store, since it only listed on the 23rd of May, and right now we're on the 6th of June. So it literally only listed 2 weeks ago. So still, people are trying to understand. People are watching all this CZ news about crypto crashing, and last night we had a 5% crash, but Truly, you just need to stay focused. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed for future videos, and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.